speaker is Annie Carmichael, who has a special spot with me because she's also the National Life Runners Communications Officer. So Annie, it's good to have you speaking on behalf of the Vitae Foundation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, in true form, we went this morning, Life Runners, you know, a few of us that are here, we went and toured the White House and the Capitol, and of course I made the mistake of wearing low heels, but still heels, and we ran. So I have the sore feet tonight from that. Vitae, like many of the organizations here, Vitae is about making abortion unthinkable. We do this by creating non-confrontational, research-based media, and then we air it in the top markets around the country, all for the purpose of saving lives while changing hearts and minds. Now, Vitae began as a small organization back in 1992 at a backyard barbecue, and has since grown to become one of the largest public information campaigns that's changing our culture to one that has a greater respect for human life. And if you want to learn more about Vitae, I encourage you to go to our website, and my son is going to pass out business cards, but on the front, our website's prominently placed, but then on the back, we have a designated page specifically to supplement what my presentation here today. And all the articles, everything I reference will be there, and I encourage you to go to that. And there's a QR code. If you got an iPhone, you can scan it and go right to that page. So anyway, so there'll be a lot of information for you there as well. Non-confrontational media. Now, to a pro-life activist, which, you know, I'm a pro-life activist. I was with Missouri Right to Life and then the Missouri Catholic Conference, and I had the honor and privilege of working with Sam Lee many years in the Missouri legislature. And to a pro-life activist, non-confrontational media is like fluff. You know, we want to see ads that are hard-hitting, that get out there and just lay out the facts. But when you want to move public opinion and your target audience, and there's three things about media: target audience, medium, and the message. And when you want to move a target audience, you have to do it incrementally. So the ads are more of a softer sell. You know, they're non-confrontational. Vitae is about changing hearts and minds, about changing the culture. We're not a legislative organization or a political action group. We are a 501c3. However, in 2006, Missouri was faced with the threat of embryonic stem cell research, or the right to for embryonic stem cell research to be placed in our Missouri Constitution. And Vitae, because it had been around so long, was who everyone was coming to do the ads for this campaign, this ballot initiative, which the proponent had raised already $30 million, broken all the records in money raised. Sometimes, and in some cases, and there's information on that website I gave you, but in some cases, in one election, there were combined races that didn't add up to that amount. So anyway, it was going to be a tough sell. So we raised an additional $2 million over our budget that year, and what we did was what we call the prophetic voice campaign. And that is, research showed that you know, before we could do vote no ads, which of course Vitae was not going to be able to do, we had to educate the public, our like constituencies. Who's that? It was Catholics. Catholics supported this ballot initiative by 67% a year out from the vote. And then Protestants supported it just behind that. So anyway, it was decided that if we could move that constituency just on educating them on a couple of things. What's the difference between embryonic stem cell research and adult stem cell research and so forth? But anyway, so we started with that. The next ad linked stem cell research, or embryonic stem cell research, to cloning. And so slowly we moved both those constituencies And then in the fall, the Vote No ads began running, and that was Life Communications Fund, which was a 501c4 organization that many of the people involved with VTE and other organizations were involved in as well. But nonetheless, it was able to move those constituencies to a point that by the time the Vote No ads started, they were already geared to make that leap. Now, the proponents had been on the air a full year in advance, and anyone who's politically astute knows that candidates, I mean, to be on the air a year ahead of time is almost unheard of. So this was going to be it was a train coming on fast, but nonetheless, they did pass that initiative. That is in our Constitution now, but it only passed by 2 percentage points. And because Missouri now is such a as they see it, such a hostile environment for such, they never were able to do all the things they wanted to do, make the expansions. So why did I tell you all that? I tell you all that because when you're looking at legislative initiatives, when you're looking at ways to move this issue forward, legislation is an excellent forum for educating the public on the issue. And in Missouri, as Sam said, we've done a number of things, and partial birth abortion, fetal pain issue, all of those things educate the public, and they make the people realize, the public realize, why do you need a fetal pain, or a bill to regulate fetal pain, or to give them some kind of relief for such? Well, that means there's pain. You know, so anyway, and it takes a lot of grassroots activity to move legislation. I love grassroots organizing. I'm very good at it too, by the way, anyone who needs help. That's what I did before I went to VTE.
I could vouch for that.
but nonetheless, you know, and grassroots, that communicates to the legislators or your Congress. However, to move public opinion and to get all that going, you have to have a communications campaign. And with VTE, we have 2 kinds of ads. We have an attitude changing ad, and then we do a call for, what we call a call for help. Attitude changing is a broader audience. In the beginning, they dealt with dichotomies. Are you standing? Are you telling me my time's almost up?
You have 30 seconds.
Oh, I have 30 seconds. Okay, well, let me just wrap this up with, we have call for help, and we have the attitude changing ads. But call for help directs women directly to, women in need, pregnant women in need, directly to pregnancy centers. And in every market that VTE has run ads in, hands down, abortions have been canceled, but more than that, the abortion numbers fall. And VTE has run campaigns in over 16 countries, 29 states, and that includes 77 markets. So when thinking about, when putting a plan together on moving things forward through legislative means and so forth, you've got to always be thinking about how you're going to move that public opinion, the message, the medium, and the target audience. And remember, you are not the target audience. So nonetheless, but go to that website and please contact me if you have any input, any information, any questions about anything I said. All my information is on there as well. So anyway, thank you all for coming, and thanks to Doris and